Alrighty, so, game's coming out soon, right? Um, it's been being worked on for quite a while, so I thought I'd show it off um, a bit before it comes out, promote it a bit. Um, so, first thing you'll notice, if you played the demo, there's static now, and you can turn it off if you're lame. And of course, there's, custom night as well, which I will be doing. I will be attempting to beat the max mode. I don't know if I'm going to do it because it's pretty tricky. Um, Without further ado, let's start it up. This has an intro. The first game didn't have an intro. So, you know, definitely improved. So, yeah, you've probably seen this if you've played the demo. Otherwise, you're gonna notice that it does not look very good for FNAF fan game, and that's because I'm really terrible at art. We have these buttons. I don't want to press any of them because it'll cost me power to do it at the wrong time. And there's 5 different cameras, of course. Oh yeah, I also applied an effect to the cameras. I don't think that was in the demo either. This guy right here will show up with a color code, and that's what this is for. And you press that same code that's on here. And if you're not sure what that's doing, it is making the game slowly darker until I cannot see anymore. So you do want to deal with this, which it's green, red, blue. Yeah, and you'll notice, oh my goodness, it was so dark because it's not dark now. I don't believe any of the characters got in. I still have hotkeys. That's just, I'm very Ultimate Custom Night. So I had to have hotkeys. But I do want the game to be mobile friendly. You can play this on your phone or tablet or whatever if you really want to. I would definitely recommend, especially for this one, playing on, mouse and computer, because doing the room movement. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Room movement is pretty unique. I thought I thought up something really cool here. Oh, all right. That's why we check. And these are the 2 characters that are on night 1. I thought I did something really unique with the room movement, and then I remembered that Pizzeria Simulator exists. So, not really that unique after all. But this isn't really a format that you see a lot of games model it after. I mean, I suppose I haven't played too many fan games, but the ones I've played, the ones I've seen, don't usually do this kind of thing, and there's probably a good reason for that. It's kind of pretty eh. But we're going back to side movement for the 3rd game, which is, I mean, I don't want to promise that it will happen because I might just never finish it. That's always a possibility, but I probably will. So, it does technically have development started already, but very little. I'm currently working on other stuff. I'm recording this on the 30th of January, so February's about to start. Red, green, blue, and for April Fools, I want to do another fun little game because I like doing April Fools games. It's just something a little different. It's not entirely bad. It is going to be another FNAF-like, just like Booyah Base 1 was, but this is Booyah Base 2. This is more of a... it took not as long to make Booyah Base 1. That game I made pretty quickly, and you can probably tell. There was no intro or exit cards, for like when you start and finish the game. There was a custom night, so at least I have that. Not every game has a custom night. I mean, most of them do, but like, Scratch FNAF likes are just something else. Oh, and I died. Okay. Let's try this again. I probably should have shortened the night length as well, because I only have so much to talk about. Um, you know. Um, so, yeah. I did make this with Scratch because, you know, I don't I don't know how to use anything else. I'm not very good at making games. I you know, I also it's web based and that makes it a lot easier to do on any device, and so when I don't have my computer I can just do it on a different device instead. Um, which, you know, is pretty handy. Not a lot of actual real game development programs do that. You know, I can't do Unity or Game Maker or Godot, right? Like that's I think Godot might have a web version, but it does. I've messed with it and it does not work very well. Um, especially if you don't know how to use Godot. Blue, red, green. So I haven't really touched any of those, mostly because I just don't know any programming languages, or at least don't know them well enough to try and make something. And, you know, for what I try to make, Scratch is competent enough for it, right? Like this, you know, it's a small scope. If you want to make like a big serious game, don't use Scratch. You learn an actual program, but you just want to make short little things that you make in like a month or two, or oh my god, I'm so bad at this game. Or this is embarrassing. I failed twice on the first level of my own game. You know, if you want to make like a smaller game, month or two, totally do Scratch. It's very simple to learn. A lot of it is much more self-explanatory than other languages, especially like block-based stuff in general. You know what your options are a lot easier than with a programming language. This game did take a while to make, though. Started development in like April. Same month Booyah Base 1 was released. Sound effects are basically the same, of course, because why bother reinventing the wheel? If it works, don't try to rework it. If it works perfectly fine. So, you might be wondering why it took so long to make this. Red, green, blue. And that's simply just because, apart from the fact that I, you know, take a pretty long break every so often from game development stuff. Green, blue, red. It's just, I really didn't know what sort of direction I wanted to go with the, if you've played the first game, Night 4, you have to fix a robot machine while still monitoring the office. And I wanted to do something similar, and oh my gosh, that robot machine was a total pain to make. For the most part, it turned out pretty good. I'm not really happy about the wires. The way I originally wanted the wires just didn't work. So I had to do a really bad alternative. But apart from that, I think I did a pretty decent job of getting it in a state functional enough to work. Yeah, and this game, it took me a while to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. My first thought was like, ooh, I'll do a puzzle box, you know. This is pretty cool, you know, like a puzzle box, yeah. I couldn't really think of enough puzzles to have it warrant a night, you know. Nights in this game are 5 minutes, so that's like trying to make enough puzzles to be about 5 minutes is pretty tricky when you're bad at making puzzles and you're using Scratch to do it. Some of the puzzles I did have ideas for ended up being put in a different game. That's Fractured Mirror, which I will be showing off not in this recording, but green, red, blue. Not in this recording, but when I do the developer commentary for all my other games, which is going to happen, and it's going to happen soon because 5 years of game dev is coming up, and I wanted to do some commentaries along with releasing 5 game or game adjacent projects in that time. That's why it's been so long since I've released a proper game, by the way, because 5 of them have been in the works for quite a while. But, in any case, please just finish this first night already. It's not that bad. The second night is just this, but more difficult as well. And you might have noticed this game is not called 5 Nights at Booyah Base. It's called Work a Week at Booyah Base. And you might also know that a week is 7 days and not 5 days. And so you might wonder, well, how do you add more content in this, to make it warrant being that much longer? And the answer is multiple things. In the first game, I added like 2 specialty nights that had like bonus mini games you had to complete. I already mentioned the robot one, and there's another one where we have to shred papers, which does return here because I think it's a genuinely really good mechanic. I think it warrants existing. It's probably the best part of the game, if I'm being honest, is that idea. So, there's that. And then that's pretty much it, is the 2 different mini games in the first one, as well as, introducing some new... There we go! Finish the night. On to night 2. More of the same. It had more characters, and it did some stuff that I thought was pretty cool, stuff I liked. What was I gonna say? This one, you're gonna see it, okay? I'm not gonna spoil any of this stuff, but I pulled some more curveballs. Yeah, so night 1 is basically just a harder, or night 2 is a harder night 1. My bad. Green, blue, red. And you might be wondering what these 2 buttons are for. Ooh, other buttons. What could these be for? I'm not telling you yet. You'll see. I will say this game has how many characters? I think 10. Well, it's really 9, but I split one of the characters up in 2 sections because it looks nicer to say you have 10, and that just lines up better for the custom night like graphical interface than having 9 would. Dang, he moved quickly. We moved again! Oh no, he didn't. I'm just stupid. I think after working on this game for like 6 months, I'd know a bit more about it, but evidently not. Oh man. The other character isn't even here yet. But, yeah, so 9, 10, technically 9 different characters. There's 2 ones that are walking around, and then, of course, there's the, like, colored sign. Colored sign, that's what it's called, by the way. Just colored sign. Lamest name ever. But, that's the name. There's both of them chilling. So you've seen 3 of the characters already. And that's all you're going to be seeing for a good bit. Of course, there's phone calls in the actual game. I've just muted them, so voice actor phone call me won't be interrupting real world recording me, because obviously the phone calls aren't real me, they're fake me. It's my evil doppelganger that recorded them. No, but it's just like, you don't want to be interrupted with the phone calls. You're going to hear those in the game if you play it, which you should totally go and play this once it releases on the day it releases, which will happen by February 15th, I believe. It'll be out by then, so play it when it comes out. Red, blue, green. check it out. It's gonna release on Scratch first, and then I'm gonna release it on itch.io as well, because I release all my games on both platforms, because itch.io's for the most part pretty cool. Um, Obviously any website that lets you indiscriminately publish games, you're gonna have some bad stuff, but so does Steam. So it's like, if the best of the best has bad stuff, you can't fault something lesser for also having bad stuff in it. Um, and you can find a lot of hidden gems on itch.io. It's probably the best place if you're looking for um, like indie games, or just fun little web-based stuff you can try out. And even some like real games are on there too. I believe Rain World is on there. Um, that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head, but other stuff as well. That's just not coming to mind at the moment. Yeah, but this game will come out along with the other four. Not game. Well, yeah, the fifth one isn't really a game, but jeez, you move so fast. But the other three games that are gonna be coming out for 5th anniversary. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Yeah, this, it's, the art direction isn't great in this game, and I know that. I'm just really bad at drawing, and even worse at 3D modeling, so there was only really one option, and that was 2D art, and the 2D art isn't the best, but I think it's serviceable enough, and as long as it gets the point across what you're looking at, and works, then it's gonna be adequate enough, and it's not awful enough that you're like, ugh, I don't want to play this. Which it has the Scratch FNAF game art style. Like, it's not great, but green, red, blue. What am I? What do you want me to do about it? I can't do background art very well at all. But I think one thing that would definitely help is adding some more clutter. Like, this stuff is just too empty. There's just nothing anywhere. All that's here is this desk and this vent, which I added this vent specifically just to screw with people. There's nothing that comes of it. It's just here. I like how bouncy everything is when you shake your mouse. It's the fact that everything in the room lags behind the background, it, like, moves at a different rate than everything else. I really like that. I think it looks pretty silly, and I think I like that. Which is why it's gonna stay in the game. That's why I coded it in the first place, after all. Yeah. Come on, just finish night 3. Not even night 3, we're on night 2 still. Oh my gosh. How long have I been recording for? Almost 20 minutes, and we're on night 2. So, yeah, check out the game when it releases. I will add, I probably will forget to add the link in the description, if I'm being honest. I don't even know if links work for me yet. So there might not be a link in the description, but whatever. Who cares? Nobody's actually gonna see this and want to play the game, so it's fine. Anyway. Move! Gosh. Move! Yeah, power drain in this game is really quick, because I don't really want anyone to be using a lot of power. The game is very... You're supposed to be very intentional with the power. And in all honesty, Power Drain isn't that bad. I usually land with a little more or less than like 60% when I'm trying to do max mode. So, and that's always at 5 a.m. near the tail end of 5 a.m. You just have to know the tricks for it. Oh, I almost messed up there. That would have been bad. Okay. Okay. So this is where we do the paper shredding. And the art in these is intentionally done really poorly. I like to make it look bad because it adds a little like ambiguity to it. You know, you could have multiple interpretations. Like, what is that? A person holding up a circle? Who knows what that circle is? Is it water? Is it a seed? Like, what's that thing he's holding? What's that thing? You know? Oh my God, you move fast. What's this? I actually have no clue what this is. In fact, it might just be random scribbles. Maybe it's a hot dog. Maybe it's a hot dog. I don't know. Maybe it's not a hot dog. You never know. Um, that is just scribbles for sure. Some of these are a lot more intentional drawings though. But there's some real random stuff in there. Um, red, blue, green. If you don't move soon, I'm gonna run out of power. This is just a terrible drawing of a person. I don't really know why I chose like such a scribble art style because obviously I can do things a lot better than that, right? Like you see the rest of this game. I can draw characters a little better than that. Um, that, no clue, looks like a bird. It might have just been random scribbles. Who's to say? I actually don't remember. I drew most of these like 4 months ago. Most of this game was developed. Oh, that's a cat. I can tell what a cat looks like. But some of them are very intentional references to stuff. But again, some of them are just scribbles. We're running low on power. That is one of the octopus enemies from Splatoon, which, if you didn't know, is what I based some of this game off of. The other part was based off of Five Nights at Freddy's, obviously. But that's just a drawing of a normal human-shaped person. I'm a big fan of Splatoon. I think it started because I was just looking like in my like image folder for just something I could slap on the wall in the first game just to fill it out a bit. Um, and this is a reference to the album cover for the Crypt of the Necrodancer soundtrack. Yeah, it's like doing the same pose as Cadence is in the album art. So I don't know why I did that, but it's a drawing in the game, and I believe the next one, yeah, the next one, same thing, but for Rift of the Necrodancer. Great game, by the way. You've probably heard of Crypt of the Necrodancer. It's a pretty popular indie game, but they made like a rhythm game, like an actual rhythm game. It's so fun, and they've done a lot of like really cool crossovers with stuff. Like they've done one with Super Meat Boy. They've done one with Celeste, Pizza Tower, Shovel Knight, Everhood, which is a pretty cool game. Everhood. This also album art for Crypt of the Necrodancer. This one was for one of the DLCs though. I forget which one off the top of my head. What else did they Rift do crossovers with? Blue, green, red. They did reference to the iconic demo man from TF2 Sunflower. It's pretty obvious. They did one with Unbeatable. I swear I'm gonna get to playing that game. I swear I'm gonna play it. I've been busy doing other stuff, and I haven't finished Silk Song yet either. I like I I have so much stuff to do. No clue what that is. Maybe a cookie being eaten by a big jaw monster. They also did a crossover with Friday Night Funkin', which was really funny because that's just a different rhythm game. But definitely check Rift of the Necrodancer out. There's a demo. This is just an upside down person. I don't even think that's a reference to anything. That's just an upside down person. If I wanted to, I could claim that's a reference to the Hanged Man Tarot, but who cares? So, this is a person overlooking a cliff, I can tell. Um, anyway, ending my rant or ramble or spiel or whatever about how cool Rift of the Necrodancer is. It is really cool though. Um, and I can easily recommend it to anyone. Blue, red, green. Good. Okay. 3. I don't know if that's a reference to Splatoon 3 or just the number 3. I can't remember and I can't be bothered to remember. um, MSS Purple. This is a reference to a famous horror film, MSS Blue, which famously uses a lot of TF2 character models and stuff in it. Very good. I would recommend it. It's on YouTube. It's free. You can go and watch it right now. After this, I know you're watching this on YouTube. Okay. I know you're watching this on YouTube because it isn't anywhere else. Just go watch MSS Blue. It's really good. Which makes 2 TF2 references because TF2 is a great game. And if you think it isn't, then you either haven't really played a lot of it, or have to put up with the community, which can be pretty bad at times. But from an objective standpoint, the game itself is definitely very well crafted, and it's very fun. I do enjoy a nice casual match of CTF2 Fort from time to time. I don't play the game as often as I did when I first made this, though. That was during the TF2 arc, I think. I do still play TF2 now and again, though. It's, there's a reason it's still one of the most popular FPS games after what, almost 20 years at this point, I think. That's wild. 20 years. Yeah, because it came out in, what, 2007? It's 2026. It almost has been 20 years. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm so distracted. TF2 is old. But considering it's still incredibly popular for that long, there's a reason. It's because the game's pretty good. It doesn't have the best new player onboarding, but I feel like most people have played TF2 before. I don't really know why I'm trying to sell you on it. See, Rift of the Necrodancer, that warrants trying to convince someone to play it. It's really good. Great game. TF2, TF2. Everyone knows TF2. But where was I going with this? Was I going anywhere? I've been doing a lot of rambling. But this is just me playing my own game, talking about stuff that may or may not be slightly related to it. So there's that. I mean, what do you expect me to say about the game? This is all stuff that is pretty self-explanatory if you've ever played a FNAF game before or has already been explained. Yeah. These levers were actually a pretty late addition to the game. It occurred to me that there was no way to open and close the doors without the keyboard, which means the game would not be playable on mobile, and I wanted the game to be playable on mobile. Blue, green, red. Because that's something I wanted to work because the first game did. And I tried playing it on my phone once, and it was because I was really bored. I had nothing to do, actually no internet. Blue or red, blue, green. And it happened to already be loaded on my device, so I just played the whole thing. and it was fun, and yeah, so that's why I wanted to make sure that mobile players got to be happy, because I, you know, if I can easily add mobile support, might as well. So, if you're really bored, go on to whatever search engine your phone has, green, red, blue, and boot up some of this new picture. Chicken bucket. This is a reference specifically to the chicken bucket in the one TF2 little short film thing that Valve does. Like when they introduce the characters, they did one of those and it had a chicken bucket in it. That's the reference. Weapon that the scout has. It's a melee. TF2 reference again. Funny thing. One of like my very early game projects. Had a reference to that in it as well. Red, blue, green. It never released. I don't think it's ever gonna release. But it was kind of a sequel to my first real game. And it was gonna be a lot more like Henry Stickmin style as opposed to these are polka dots. Not that. I mean, still most of them that I've made are Henry Stickmin style, but like actual animations. And then I remembered I'm bad at animating and never got very far in that. So that's the fourth night done. Or third night, my bad. And you'll notice a new button. Yay. Yeah, so this is what I ended up going with for night 4 for instead of a puzzle box. The FNAF minigames, that's what this is inspired by. You might have seen this if you played my minigame for Halloween, which was literally just this. So, yeah, I made this in October. It was a decently late addition to the game. This is Pig, written in Pigpen, and pen will be written on the other side, Pigpen, famous cipher Pigpen. This says Janus, which is an epic reference to the Roman god, because, I'm not going to explain it. This is setting up some epic lore stuff for the overall lore that I have for my games. This says hexadecimal. And the reason it says that is because this is hexadecimal. So you're expected to do a lot of hopping between this tab and doing a little bit of research to get this to happen. And what happens here is, if you go the wrong way, it just sends you back to here. But if you go the right way, it doesn't do that. Which is pretty neat. This, I'm not going to show for very long, because this is also epic super secret lore backstory stuff. Go up. So you do, and you're like, whoa, wait, this text is the same, and whoa, jump scare. Right, so, and you win. Pretty short night. I didn't really show this off a lot because, I finished the night, right? But your power does carry over. It carries over, but you do get 15% more. So you don't want to use too much power in that. That's another little unique thing I don't see a lot of FNAF style games do. And you might notice, oh my gosh, a new character. What? Why is there a new character? Huh? And and I'd ask, would you not expect a new FNAF character to, or not a FNAF character, but like a new character to appear in a FNAF game? Like, obviously I'd introduce more. 3 characters is not enough. I said there's 10. There's a reason I said there's 10. It's because there's 10. But the cast gets completely replaced with a new cast on night 5, which is the last like curveball I really throw at the player is, oh my gosh, there's a new cast. Effectively, it is mechanically the same, and I'm going to explain this a bit more when the other characters decide to show up, if they decide to show up. If they care to show up, I want to talk about, okay, so, characters showing up, right? This one comes at camera 2 door every time. This one will attack camera 5 door every time. So now you have to deal with a threat on both sides instead of one threat alternating sides. And then they go down in the middle. Except this character also has a unique mechanic. Hold on. Oh, and this is what these buttons are for. I forgot why. I think I had this image originally for a different project. The image of Pearl and Marina. I don't know why, what the project was. But I remember I had them for a different project that has been scrapped. But I just decided these are Splatoon characters. Let's add them into this, and then that is actually where this mechanic came from. Red, blue, green. Her comes down the center, right? You can see that right now. But when she arrives at your door, she might be holding a peace sign or her weapon. And if it's a peace sign, you don't want to close the door. You want to keep it open, like this. Which turned out to be like an amazing mechanic. It's incredibly tense to have to keep staring down this doorway while there's like threats on your other side, so you keep checking slightly and then going back to make sure she didn't show up and you don't accidentally close the door or keep the door open when you're not supposed to. It's really tense and I really like it. Red, blue, green. Oh, I'm gonna have to fix that. Alright. I didn't know that was in the game. Oopsies. Well, you know, that's bug fixes or bug fixes. Yeah, I don't know why this character stays at your room for so long, but I'm gonna keep it that way because I have no idea how to fix that, and it's relatively harmless. Right, so now I have to like stare down this doorway the entire time, and like green, blue, red. There we go. Oh god. Okay. Again, really tense. What happens is this will, honestly I don't remember what they do. I think they just block the doors occasionally. Red, green, blue. I think that's really it. How are you still there? It's been like 3 hours. Imagine just standing in front of a doorway for 3 hours. That's wild. Yeah, so new cast of characters. On night 5. Night 6 is just a harder night 5. Blue, green, red. You do get a power penalty if you, oh god, press the buttons when you're not supposed to. The top two, minus 10 power, the bottom three, minus 5 power, which is quite a lot, right? You don't want to be pressing those all willy-nilly. Again, if you want to min-max, you can save a lot of power relatively easily next night. But other than that, you know, like, you can get away with pressing all the buttons at least once and still win. You know, that's what, minus 20, 30, 35 power. You can perfectly get away with losing 35 power and still be fine. Blue, red, green. You're just gonna have to play a lot more reserved than you might normally play. Yeah, so that's the character that's 9. That's where the only kind of 10 comes in, because both options are counted as different characters. Which, you know, lets you modify how rare one of them has a chance of showing up to be. Which, that's kind of useless, you know? Like, who cares, right? Again, you know, it just looks nicer to say you have 10 than to say you have 9. That, and it just works better for UI formatting. Like a 2x5 row is a lot easier to do than a 3x3 row. Which, you know, you could argue that, nah, but screw you, I made the game. if you want to do that, you can go ahead and play the game yourself and go and modify it, because that's who's going to waste their time doing that. Nobody. That's who. The game is open source, you know, it's made in Scratch. All Scratch games are open source, but they're all in the native programming language, which is probably fine. It's pretty simple to learn, you know, it's very self-explanatory. So, go change it if you dislike it. See if I care, which I won't, but, you know, I appreciate the support if you go and do that for some reason. Red, green, blue. Where are you? Oh, thank goodness. Actually, where are you? Are you just not in the building yet? That's wild. Oh god. I could have messed up. Night 6, by the way. Yeah. It's just, there's just a little too much for there to only be 5 nights. You know, I think 7 works a lot better. Also, I wanted it to have a distinct name because I don't know if this is still the case, but it used to be that if your game was 5 Nights at Freddy's on Scratch, it would just straight up be like shadow banned. So I wanted to name it something unique and distinct, and Work a Week is just a very, you know, work a week, you know, that sounds fun, you know, work a week, right? You can get behind it being called that. And Booyah Base is the name of. Oh, I never explained that, did I? Booyah Base. That's like a shopping district in Splatoon, and I was like trying to figure out like what's the backstory, what's the lore for this game, because I had to do a lot of like lore writing, backstory stuff for the first game, because you know, it's a project I actually wanted to take seriously. You know, most of my games are very tongue-in-cheek, references, stuff like that. Lots of just silliness in them. You know, it's kind of just like one of the main things in the genre is the silliness of them. So I wanted to do something with that like has concrete lore and story and continuity and stuff. Did you actually move for once? Oh my goodness, no way. Blue, green, red. That's wild. So I had to do a lot of lore writing, and my idea was like, okay, well, sensibly, why would you need to protect this? Let's say there's like, you know, Splatoon, you know, you fight each other with like weapons, you know, it's like paintball, almost, kind of, kind of like paintball. So like, what if there's new like types of weapons that were stored away in here, and you had to protect people from seeing them because you don't want people to see them? And I was thinking that, you know, it was like, oh, that's a pretty good idea, actually. Yeah. Another thing about this game is when I wrote the dialogue, one of the very first things I wrote down in the design document is that I wanted to be ambiguous on whether or not it was a sequel or happened in parallel with the first game. Because the first game is kind of this game references like the original store a lot, right? Which could have been the one you were playing in, right? In the first game, or it could have been they both opened up at around the same time. And there's a lot of credit to both ideas, which was very intentional, because I don't really think it matters, you know? There's not, these games specifically don't have a lot of like grand super secret lore. My overall series has a lot, but these games specifically, not so much. Most of it is just lore from the greater series that is being shoved into these games, and a lot of the lore in the greater series is in the very early stages of development, because, yeah. Okay, final night, and then we're gonna try and beat custom night. But it's been 45 minutes of recording already, so, you know, it's pretty long game. I mean, it's a FNAF game, so you know it's not gonna last that long if you know what you're doing. But it is a full-sized FNAF game, so. Oh, yeah, that's right. Everyone's here. Everyone's here now. That's. I know I said there wasn't really any curveballs. One last curveball is you have to deal with everybody, which can put you in theoretically unwinnable scenarios, technically. But you know, the chance of that happening pretty slim. Green, red, blue. So, yeah, most likely not gonna happen. The only way that could happen is peace sign and where are you? Uh, this both of these show up at the same time. She has peace sign. She does not. I just realized their shirts are like the exact same color. What the heck? Red, green, blue. There, we got rid of that problem real quick. Oh my gosh, you actually moved for once. Yay! Another thing is you can't see it in this frame, right here. Blue, red, green. But in all the other ones you can. Her facial expression changes when she enters into any other area. Yeah, some of the layering in this game is not great, but see, facial expression changed. A lot more blushy, flustered. This is like epic cool shipping because I'm lame like that. Green, blue, red. I think it's funny. My friend, you are way too big. I don't know why I drew you so big here. What was, so yeah. She has a crush on her. Sure, let's just say that because that's exactly what I did. I don't know why. I was just like, you know, it would be some random funny thing I could put in this game. What if one of the characters had a crush on another character? So I did that. And it's in such a like small way, you know, you might not even notice. Or you might, you know. Goodness. I had that door closed. That was a bad idea. It's very unobtrusive, and I think that's the best way to handle something like that, especially when it's so dumb. Like a lot of stuff will like try to shove in relationships into it, when it doesn't really belong. I see that a lot in like movies, you know. But it's a just small detail, very unobtrusive. And it's just, you know, a little bit of world building, and I think, you know, that's fun to have. World building is fun to have. I'm sure Splatoon characters have relationships. They're very much so modeled after human beings, which do in fact have relationships. I can't think of a time. Well, I guess Pearl and Marina do get pretty flirty at times, but apart from that, there's not really any like actual relationships in the game canonically, as far as I know. There might be something in Splatoon 1, which I haven't played because I'm a fake fan. I don't own a Wii U. I'm gonna run out of battery. If I don't finish this night, I'm just not gonna finish it because I do want the ending cutscene to maybe be a surprise. You know, might as well kind of thing. You know, right? Like, if I have the chance to make it a secret. Nobody is moving. I gotta perform like some green, blue, red. I gotta perform like some actual like stunts here if I want to get through this. But then you won't get to see the power out scene, which, you know, that's gotta perform the max mode strat. Gotta perform the 1020 strats. You know, trying to get through this. Gotta focus a little more, right? I'm at 1% power. I might actually pull through if it keeps up like this. Yeah, you made it. 75,000 money shall be given to your name here by Booyah Base Incorporated. May the fates smile upon thee, which um is just a phrase. I just really like it. You know, it's basically just wishing you good fortune, right? Um so let's pull up the custom night here, right? Again, two different characters. Kind of lame. Another thing. These wrap around, which was in the first game as well, but this is the greatest quality of life feature I wish more FNAF games did, because then it gets so much easier to set the max mode. Instead of having to click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 times, right? You just click once in the other direction, and there you go. So much better that way. All right. Oh, right. I want to show you guys the Wait, hang on. Actually, I will do it. Red, blue, green. Red, blue, green. Red, blue, green. It plays a tune just like in actual FNAF, but instead of the what's Toreador March? It's a song I made myself because I make music. I'm gonna die really quickly into the song. It's like 2.5 minutes long though, so it'll take up half the night unless you die. Which I will release the song separately, of course, because I do that. I think it's already in one of my projects actually, on the music shop that I have up. If you want to go request some songs yourself, that's where you want to go to do it. I do take requests. It's completely free because my songs aren't good enough to charge money for, and also it's on Scratch, so I can't really charge money. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, composed a song for this. I composed this song like right at the start of development because I knew it was going to take a while. The only other song that's this length is Cave Music, which I composed all in like one day, which is kind of wild actually. Red, blue, green. Like that quickly is kind of wacky. I don't usually compose anything that quickly if it's not like a little 30-second bit for like Epic Quest or something, because Epic Quest is all cutscene and all the cutscene is super short. But yeah, I will show off Epic Quest Chapter 3, don't worry. And I have been thinking about this of like, should I release like a deluxe version, rework some of the stuff in the first chapter, because chapter 1 is kind of iffy in some parts. For the most part, fine enough, it's serviceable. But I've definitely adopted a bit of a different design philosophy since then, of it should be really accessible for someone to find all of the unlockable. There's no way this is on, hold on, let me check. There's no way this could possibly be on max mode, right? Where are the character difficulties at? Yeah, nope, they're not. Okay, that's awkward. They're set up for not custom night. They're set up for night 7. I don't know what's up with that. I'll have to fix that. See, this is useful, finding some bugs. This is why the game isn't out yet. Well, that's not why, but So let's try this one more time. I'm hitting an hour on the recording. I didn't expect to be recording this long, but here we are. Yeah, this is 2020 mode type strats. Just look back and forth, look back and forth, look back and forth, and then check on 2 cameras, right? That's it. That's more than FNAF 1. Oh god. Yeah, that's scary. When you get that, you gotta be prepared. You do have like a 2-second window, I think, or 5-second window maybe. I forget. If it's either 5 seconds or 2 seconds, that will. You know what? Maybe it's Pearl does the middle one and Marina does the left and right ones. I forget. I'm a fake game developer. I don't even know my own game. But what was I even saying? I completely forgot. Dang. Oh, right. Character it's like a 5-second window or a 2-second window, and then it'll have like not a 1 in 10 chance. It scales with difficulty. I don't have the exact numbers on the top of my head. but it has a random chance of occurring like every zero point 0.1 seconds. Um, Probably like the difficulty out of 30 or something to occur. Um, yeah, so you have a lot more time theoretically. You could get super duper lucky and just have them all just wait at your doors and never attack, but that's probably not going to happen. So theoretically, you could. All right, we're gonna end off here because um, there's no reason to keep going. You've seen everything. There's no secret message at the end of the custom night, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, so that was Booyah Base. Um, 2, the second. Go play it when it releases in February 15th. Yeah. Uh, Thanks for watching the developer commentary, and I'll see you next time.